All right, we're starting.
Okay. Now we're starting. Now we're recording.
Yes, we are.
Okay. I think my biggest nervousness is that people are going to hear my voice and go, "She sounds horrible. I don't want to listen to that."
I listen to my voice all the time on different things. Yeah, no, I understand completely.
You ever heard yourself on voicemail?
Have I ever heard myself on voice? Yes, I have.
Okay. So, what do you want to start with?
Well, let's start off with saying hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Yes, we have an audience. It's not just me and you talking.
Probably a good start.
Yeah.
Hi.
So we are new to podcasting. This will be our first ever podcast, and I know it seems a little bit weird, but I do want to say that
That's a subject though.
what
Weird.
yeah, we are very weird. And we are diving deep into the idea of the universe, talking about different kinds of, I would say, special things like tarot cards,
Tarot,
gems.
spirituality, divination, manifestation, universe.
Yeah. So mind the audio as well, because since it's our first time, and trying to do the audio adjustments, it will be a little awkward, because we don't have professional equipment, but we wanted to start off with something small and maybe to understand if you guys enjoy this type of content or not. So feel free to let us know if you want us to continue on doing these kinds of podcasts. We'll probably think of something for a schedule talking about stuff. But I'd like to ask the first question here.
Okay.
Um,
I'm nervous now.
let's yeah, you nervous.
I am now.
Yeah.
Hey, what's it? But now I am.
So let's start off with our names.
Oh, I'm Liza,
She is my mother. I am Seth, the son,
the sun.
and we are people who are very interested in spirituality.
I
and
like how
stuff.
he says people like as if we're not.
Well, I have to. No, we're spirit. It's on the other side. Yeah, we're speaking from.
I'm sorry. I went
beyond.
conspiracy theory with that. Or like total like lizard mask. It went a whole another level.
Right. So, with that, I am not in tune with spirituality as much, so I will be more of the questionnaire. But my mother, on the other hand, is someone who's deep and connected with different kinds of spiritual / universal signs and I would say it's not really a religion per se.
It's not. I know why I'm nervous now. This is basically my first time. I mean, I have some friends and family who know, but this is my first time publicly coming out of the brain closet, spiritual closet. I'm not a witch.
You're starting to become you're becoming open with it.
Yeah, I'm more open with it. So I'm a psychic medium, and I have been for apparently my whole life. And I didn't know. And I started tarot cards and then off and on kind of peppered things. And then I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm going to let you ask questions. I'm just going to back
No,
that up.
continue. Well, you're talking about, so with that being said, right? With that being said, you are someone who's connected spiritually, well, you said psychic, right?
Clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. Yeah.
Which I don't know any of that means, but the question must be asked.
So clairvoyant is when you see, and it's not necessarily like you're looking directly at it, you see, but a lot of people, everybody has energies. Everybody has psychic visions, like deja vu, for example. But everyone has something that triggers them at some point where they're like, don't go down that road, or hey, maybe I should slow down here. And then they see there's a cop car.
So kind of like intuition, similar to intuition.
Definitely. It is definitely an intuition. But clairvoyants also see more than that. So we can look at something in our mind's eye, or just kind of like when you're daydreaming in your head, and I could look at something and go, what is going on with that person? Or sometimes that person will just kind of pop up in my head. Just random person. We'll call him Bob. Bob will pop up in my head, and I'll have this whole mental image of what's happening with Bob, what Bob is up to, what Bob's trouble Bob is getting into, and then Bob will disappear. And that's kind of clairvoyant. So you can kind of get that And if you're talking to Bob and he has a question, sometimes you can see into future, past, present kind of thing.
kind of like visions of things. So, for example, as much as I am not that deep into the psychic part of it, and it's kind of weird for me. I've had moments where I've had big deja vu
Mm.
where I remember a specific thing. Like, I remember it's so weird. I remember this one time I was in college and I was in my sophomore year. I was hanging out with this girl and we were starting to date. There was a vision I had back in high school where I had a dream of a golden book with some other miscellaneous like items on top of it.
Okay.
But when that sophomore year came around for college, it was in the exact same position,
Uh,
the exact same little trinkets, and the exact same golden book. Now, to me, that seems very coincidental, but at the same time, I've had this happen multiple times, and I think other people may have had that happen as well, but they might not remember it based off like dreams and stuff like that not being written
right.
down instantly. I think people don't write down their dreams as often.
Right. So, and then people will remember certain dreams. And there's a lot of people that don't have dreams. They don't remember any of them. And good for them. Sometimes it's not the best blessing to have certain dreams can be a little detailed or grisly. I don't I don't know how to word that. I'm not gonna word it. I'm just gonna skip past that. Sometimes
Understandable.
sometimes they can be scary. They can be scary. So but when you have those moments of deja vu where you're like, "What? This really feels familiar." And you ask yourself, like the first thought I think for most people, deja vu is like, "Did I do this yesterday?" Like,
Yeah, right?
did this happen yesterday? And then you're like, no, this is a new movie or this is a new TV show or I've never seen this episode before. So everything feels familiar. And it's just that subconsciously your brain saw into your future for a moment. And so when you come back through to the day of in the present and it happens, you're just like, huh, where did that come from? A lot of, and people think it's different things. Some people think deja vu is other stuff. So I'm don't want to get into what other people think. I'm just going to go with how I feel. That
How have you thought before? And, like, what you've seen, what you
right.
identify as
Right. I
deja
would
vu.
prefer like for me like yeah. So that's how I think of deja vu. Then you have the other one is clairaudient. Now let's go past clairaudient first. I want to go back to clairaudient later cuz it's my favorite one. Clairsentience is when you feel. So it's like vibrations of other people. You could be laying in bed, driving in your car, at work, whatever, and you'll suddenly kind of sense that person. Or if you don't know that person's name, you could just feel like somebody's watching you. If you look around, there's no one there. It's kind of it's a feeling, it's a vibe, a vibration almost. So clairsentience is when you feel something. So have you ever heard the comment that if like your right hand and your right palm itches, it means like money's coming in.
So kind of things where it's, like, similar to, sayings like my skin is crawling, for example, where if like a gust of wind, for example, blows on your skin reacts to it into a shock. But
If
in
there's no
this,
wind and you feel that.
yeah, it's kind of like watching a horror film and you're like creeped out by a spider eating
Right.
someone. You're like, what the fuck?
Goosebumps up the back. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. So it is, yeah. So clairsentience is kind of like that. But you feel these like, honestly, if you look it up, like why is my left ring finger twitching? WebMD is famous for being the top one on
Cancer. Insta cancer.
right. It's always cancer. Oh, it's never lupus, right?
Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. So the other thing is that when it comes down to things like that, when it comes down to actually feeling the moment, there's some people who, if I recall, can feel a lot more than others. And I think if you think about it like this, if you're more empathetic towards other people, or maybe
I
even
think you're thinking of empathic.
empathic.
Yeah, there's empathetic and then there's empathic. It's spelled slightly different
So what's the
Two different.
difference between them?
So empathetic is kind of like when you have empathy for someone, sympathy for someone is kind of on the side of that as well. So like what was that I learned? The difference between sympathy is empathy is as somebody's drowning in a lake and an empathetic person jumps in to save them.
But a sympathetic person would be like, "Damn, that
A
sucks."
sympathetic, well, no, a sympathetic person's gonna, oh my gosh,
Her
that
TikTok just
scared
popped
me.
up. She's
I don't know. I'm gonna turn that down. A sympathetic person is somebody who, oh, um, a sympathetic person is somebody who would throw a rope in or throw in a lifesaver. So you're sympathetic to their plight of drowning, but you're not going to go in and drown yourself trying to save them. An empathetic person will jump in, try to save them, and possibly drown themselves. You have a safety shot.
so yeah.
So, but um, empath or somebody with empathic abilities is similar to the same thing, empathy. But it's you're empathic is you feel the vibrations of the people. You're not just sympathetic or empathetic, but you feel. So when you walk into a room, let's say there's 5 people in a room, and one of those people. I speak English, y'all. I swear. One of the persons in the room is super angry. Maybe they had a bad day, they spilled coffee on themselves, their clothes weren't dry, their boss yelled at them, and you walk into that room and they're just angry. And then there's 4 other people there who are fine. Maybe one of them's kind of happy. But you'll pick up on the strongest vibration in there. And if this anger tends to be pretty strong, and you walk in there and you feel that, you could actually pick that up. And then you're mad and you don't know why you're upset. Why are you so angry?
So it's like a transfer of energy of that emotion. So if someone is sad, you'll feel sad with them because it's that kind of energy that it's like a social cue
Right.
to feel that. And
Right.
I just remembered something from my film class. I was a bachelor's degree in film, and they told me the difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is not being in someone's shoes, but still feeling sorry for them.
Correct.
Empathy is someone who was in their shoes and can relate.
Correct.
That's the difference. So when people say, I feel very sympathetic towards, let's say, the Joker for like when the movie came out, the movie, not the comic book, that he's fucking psycho. Um, the movie, for example,
Which
people,
wait.
yeah, people will feel sympathetic
Which
sometimes.
which movie?
Which we're not talking about Jack Nicholson. We're talking about the new one, like
There's like which
sorry, not it's the 20. Right. There's so many fucking Jokers. The
I
the
I like the Joker. There's just a lot of them. I need to pinpoint which one you're talking about.
I know you like Jack Nicholson a lot, and
Love Jack Nicholson.
what was the other one?
Heath Ledger was
Heath Ledger.
great.
So it's the
Honestly,
new.
I know people were very against Jared Leto. I think that a lot of the stuff was cut out that should have been in there. By the way, we're not just talking about weird stuff. We're also nerds. But I think they cut out a lot of a lot of the film that was recorded, or the what am I thinking of?
It's bloopers,
The
or
film,
not bloopers. And behind the scenes or like extra.
right?
So there's extra films that Jared. That honestly, I hate to admit it, Jared Leto was a good Joker if they made or allowed
Better edits.
not better edits, but allowed Jared Leto to get into the form of the Joker because he is such a weird character.
Yeah.
Because he's such a deep character. People don't understand that because in the comics, he may be a psycho, but there's an actual story behind why Joker is the way he is. And if you read up on him, you can sympathize,
Right.
but you can't empathize with him. And that's the reason why people will say sympathy more than empathy, because I don't think anyone's gonna be in his shoes where he's like, you know, drowned in the fucking toxic waste and then becomes a Joker,
I think
right?
right. I think that they assumed when they were filming it that everybody knows the Joker. Everybody knows the Joker story. And by everybody, I mean anyone who's going to watch this for that reason knows what's happening with him. And so they didn't character build, and they should have character builded because it's a new actor playing him.
And
They
the other
didn't give an
yeah.
opportunity to character build.
And the other thing is that, like, because of that film, it also showcased that, like, it was a different universe, but they never really developed the characters all too well. Which I hope that they, And the new Suicide Squad, which was with what's his name, John Cena, and he played Peacemaker. There was a brand new film that came out, and it was the better variation of Suicide Squad. You haven't seen it yet. I know you haven't.
Okay.
You're fine, but it's you're.
I'm just like embarrassed. I haven't seen that.
But the whole idea, to get back on topic, is the idea is that as someone who sees others in pain, you could feel their pain without even asking them or understanding when you see their emotions out
Right.
loud. And it's not even just facial recognition, it's also the atmosphere as well.
Right. You feel the vibe. And that's clairsentience is you're feeling the vibe from somebody. And it doesn't have to be somebody in the same room with you. That's your if you're an empath, that you're feeling the, the people around you. And sometimes you can feel the people that are close to you. In the past, they've had it where somebody was at work and they had a really bad day at work, and I'd called them and I'm like, "Hey, are you okay?" And they're like, "No, like I'm having a real shit day." And I'm like, "All right, talk to me. What's going on?" And then you get that whole. I'd be like, you can actually pick up on that because you have that connection with somebody that it doesn't matter if you're next to each other or not. It's just there. That's part of being an empath. But it's also clairsentient is it doesn't have to have that kind of connection, but there is a connection to some kind of energy that comes in for you. Or if you're asked a question about a specific person, you can actually reach out and kind of feel what's going on in that. But it is different parts of your body will do different things. You'll get an eye twitch. If it's your left eye, it's one thing. If it's your right eye, it's another. And it's individual. Everybody's different. So what somebody says, like the right hand, the right inner hand palm itching, a lot of people say that means money is coming in. But there are some people who feel that it's something different. So it varies. It's not a set
It's also based on history, because history
experience.
is very different depending on not history is different. Let me rephrase that, because history stays the same, but it's the idea that certain things or certain phrases have different meanings.
It's experience too. It's the same with like so angel numbers is another thing that kind of is thing, and I think that kind of might fall under the clairvoyant side where you're seeing. So for example, when I see the number 323, and 323 can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and they even have angel numbers where you can look them up. But for me, when I see 323, it means there's a secret. There's a secret somewhere and it's going to affect you. Because I mean,
Which, let's look at the time, 6:54. Is that
oh,
anything?
654. Yeah, that's a good number. So 654, 456, things in sequence kind of thing. But it doesn't have to be in sequence. For example, if you're constantly saying 411, 411, 411, that's not, that's not a pattern, but it's a pattern to you because you're constantly saying it.
Right.
So for me, 323 means that there's a secret. And I've talked with my guides and said, okay, look, if it's 323, if there's a secret out there, unless it affects me personally, I don't need to see that number. Don't show it to me. Like I don't want to let them keep their secrets. I don't care. But I will see it when it happens. And usually I'll ask somebody because it'll pop up with specific people and I'll say, hey, is there something you want to tell me? Is there something you want to talk about? No, no, everything's fine. I'm like, are you sure? Because I feel like there's something. No, no, well, the other day, and then they'll say it and they're like, oh, I don't think I was supposed to tell you, or I'm sorry I waited so long to tell you, or I didn't really think that was a secret. And it was. And then we'll kind of laugh about it because I brought it up because I saw the number. I tell them I saw the number, ask if there's a secret. They say no, and then go, oh, by the way, there was.
But the idea is that you can sense it no matter what. I would even say you can go as far as you can sense it even without a being there.
Yes.
No, and I don't mean just like
Say-
thinking about it being. I think other like rooms, for example, like I think a morgue, you can sense dread, or you can feel that sense of depression when you go into a room like that, in comparison to going to like your bedroom, which feels more comfortable and cozy, right?
Everyone's different. I do have the medium side, which is it is speaking with spirit, people who've passed, picking up on vibes and vibrations of deceased. I've spoken to them. I've had dreams where we have full on conversations, and there's been times that I can walk into a room and I'm talking to somebody, and while I'm talking to them, their grandma or their grandpa or their brother or their sister or cousin, whatever, somebody will pop in, and I ask them, "Hey, do you know somebody who looks like this?" And they'll say, "Why?" So I'm just curious because you have to be careful if you talk to some people who look at you like you're crazy.
Tell them the story of that, that Halloween day, or that the haunted house that you went to, or you said something of a story.
Oh, you're
Yeah, that
talking
one.
about okay. So
That story. Yeah, sorry. Let me yeah, haunted house is definitely not, uh
no, and I've been to haunted like when I was house searching before we found this place. Um by we I mean me. Before I found this place, like when I was house searching, my realtor and I would go in, and sometimes I would get to the door and I just turn around and she was like, "Really, you don't want to go in?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. I don't want to be in there." Like you can feel the vibes off. I have been in a morgue, and I don't get, or I didn't. And I've been there a couple times because I used to work in the medical field. But there are a couple times that I went in, I didn't feel dread and despair. Where I did feel that was outside of it
so you can
in the
sense it
waiting
even
rooms, in the
before doing.
waiting areas. No, I don't think that I was picking up on deceased. I think I was picking up on living.
You were picking up on the
The
anxiety and
remaining
depression.
energies of, yeah, people that
Yeah.
were out there waiting to hear or waiting to come look or waiting to verify or whatever they were there for. Like you could pick up on that much easier because the emotion is so much stronger. And you'd be surprised at most in my experience, in my experience, people who have passed or move on don't necessarily stay in just the places that you think of. Like people automatically go, well, cemetery. Well, they don't always hang out in the cemetery. Like they want to be around their people, and depending on what you believe and how you believe, and whether or not you believe that people are trapped in specific areas that are linked to their body or that's linked to different parts of them or trinkets that there were theirs, it's just there's too much to get into.
That's a whole nother day
That's a
for.
whole nother day for, yeah, I think the mediumship is like a whole nother day.
But what was the last one you were saying?
So the last one, which is my absolute favorite, is clairaudience. And clairaudience is when you hear. And I don't mean hear as in,
You hear whispers of, like,
if
people
you start
or.
hearing whispers, like there's something else going. There's so you need to get a big fucking stick of sage and just smudge. Yeah, you call your local. No, I'm just kidding.
Call your local church and just like, no.
Funny, not funny, joking, not joking. But yeah, no, if you're starting to hear whispers, you might want to go see a doctor or a priest
Both.
or both. Yeah, it's possible. It's both. No, what I
Can
mean,
never be safe than sorry.
your audience is when you hear, and it's like a hear in your head. So okay, I'm gonna give you a fruit to say in your head, but just say the fruit, okay? Banana. Did you say it in your head?
I said avocado.
Okay, I'm giving you a fruit.
Avocado's a fruit, isn't
Okay,
it?
that's great. I'm giving you a fruit to say.
Okay.
Was it you that said avocado, or was that your spirit team?
Well, I shuffled through different, like, ones. I was trying to say. So here's the thing though, was like I was trying to shuffle through like 4 different types of fruits to see.
I'm gonna give you a fruit. And he's like, let me pick one. No, no, no. I'm gonna give you one. Let
Oh,
me give you a
I see.
name.
So banana.
Banana. But don't say it out. Banana. Just say it in your head.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Banana. Did you say it in your head?
I said orange.
Did you really? Okay,
Yes.
this is not you.
Okay. So but no, so I think I said banana twice though in my head because you were saying banana in front of me. So it was choose a vegetable instead.
You know
No,
what?
no,
You
choose
know
a
what?
vegetable.
I'm not even gonna choose. You pick a vegetable in your head. Say it in your head.
I got it.
Okay, did you say it?
Yes.
Say it again. Now say it out loud.
Zucchini.
Okay. The first two times you heard it in your head, that's the closest I can come to describing clairaudient.
So like it's kind of like you have like thoughts in your head, like subconscious thoughts in your head that pop out, and that's what you mean by clairaudiences.
Right. And sometimes those thoughts, if you're like me and you talk to everything out loud, including your toaster when it's not working, like if you don't start working, I'm going to replace you. You talk to your cat, you talk to yourself. People talk to themselves all the time, right?
It's kind of like me talking to my cat. My cat's name is Erebus. Like I talk to Erebus and be like, "You cute motherfucker," and start getting all that cute aggression and just start doing that. I think it kinda sounds similar to intrusive thoughts, if you will, in a
Right. And
sense.
I mean, I guess that would be a good way to describe how it comes in, but it's not necessarily the things like you're not thinking bad stuff. So, well, you're not thinking about, I don't even know how to word that now.
It's more like a neutral.
I
It's
feel
like
like I'm gonna
no, it's more like a neutral,
stick my
like
foot in my mouth over
so I think what you're trying to
here.
say is it's a neutral thing where people will have those thoughts, and even if they're good or bad, the people will have everyone has had intrusive thoughts of something bad, and they're like, "Ew, what the fuck?" And there's other people who will be like, "Oh, well, that's interesting." And then there will be people who do good intrusive thoughts of like, "Okay, maybe I should help this old lady cross the road, or maybe I should help someone."
Those are intrusive thoughts. What I'm talking about is clairaudient, is where you're hearing it. So, like, I'm talking to you, and then all of a sudden I look over and I'm like, oh, where did you get that Goomba? And I point at something in the house, and we have a stuffed Goomba that I got for my birthday. Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
So we have, where did you get that Goomba? And then you would answer, and then I would say something like, did you get that last November? And I may not have known that you got that last November, and so I would never say that. But I said it out loud because it was a thought that came through me and out through my mouth.
So in a sense, it's kind
That
of
just sounds weird. I feel like you need to edit all that out because it doesn't even make sense to me right
well.
now.
So I'll try to clear it up. I kind of want to keep that in there because it keeps us human, because that kind of like those moments
Right. We
of
don't want them to see the lizard skin.
never.
I got you. I got you.
So I think what she's
So
trying
many X file
I
thoughts.
think what she's trying to say, and I'll give you a situation where someone wants to get a gift and they thought about getting a gift and they decided to say, okay, hey, I'm gonna get you. Doesn't even say anything, but does get a gift, but says something else like, okay, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go do some stuff with my friends, and let's say I want to get my girlfriend, like a perfume, right? And
That's
and when I go out there, I go and get it, and then 3 months later, I give the gift to her, and she's like, "It feels did you do that when you were meeting with your friends?" kinda deal. So it's kinda like a think back and think of, "Hmm."
that's an intuition. You're talking about intuition. So you are talking about intuition, which is something that you have when you have a connection with somebody. So you would think back to something you heard at some point that would remind you later, I need to do that, and you would do it. What I'm talking about is more of a you're hearing things. So you're hearing a story or words or a sentence or something that has to do with and honestly, a lot of the clear audience has to do with your guides. Like, oh, okay, you are driving. I knew I'd eventually get some English in here. You're driving down the street, you're headed into work, and all of a sudden there's all this traffic in front of you, and you're like, fuck. So you're sitting in traffic, and then on you get to work. Next day, you're driving to work and your brain says, maybe you should go down this road instead of that one because it was, really bad that time." And you're like, "No, no, no, it'll be fine. I always go this way." And you go that way and you're stuck in traffic again. So uh, next day comes and it's like, "Hey, maybe you should try this road." Now, you've heard in your head, "Hey, try this road," but you're arguing with it because you're like, "No, I don't want to drive an extra 5 minutes when I always take this way." And so you go that way again and again, you're stuck in traffic. Had you listened to that voice the first time when you left your house, you would have gone around traffic completely. That's why when I say I don't drive, my guides drive, it's because there's times that I'll be driving and it could be point A to point B, and I'll go to C, D, E, and F, and then back to B.
Because you're following what you felt like was the right thing.
Right.
So,
And you've avoided accidents, you've avoided
well,
lights or
but that's
traffic.
the other thing is that it kinda sounds similar to I would say learning in a sense. You're like kind of learning that I feel like that highway, say for example, that highway is always going to be busy. So why go down there in the first place?
Right.
So it, for
Part of it's intuition too. A lot has to do with intuition. No matter what you look at, a lot of it has to do with intuition. And honestly, you and I could go, it's simple. It's really simple. You just follow your intuition. If it says go down Alpha Street instead of Beta Street, then you go down Alpha Street.
oh, it's like,
But not everyone has that intuition at all. They just go down what they're used to. They don't hear it.
is it similar to curiosity in a sense of
Killing the cat.
no, cat, not no cats killing. I love cats.
I got dad jokes too.
Yeah. So in my mind, and I'm saying this out loud to clarify because I'm still confused on that, and it's it's similar to curiosity in like a protagonist in a film, for example. They see an item out in the middle of the open. It's a random item. It could be anything, and it doesn't shine out to anyone. And normally, it's not like a golden grail from Indiana Jones. It's just a random item. I would say like maybe a book. It's like old, dirty, and everything else around is very similar.
You got some great visuals right now. Thank
But
you.
but it's very similar. It feels like you want to gravitate towards it, even though it's the most random item. Something in your gut tells you to do it.
That's intuition.
That's
Okay,
intuition
so
with clairvoyance, right?
thinking of what you just said, that was perfect. That's perfect. So there's masculine and feminine, and genders aside, okay? Masculine and feminine. I'm not saying male, female. It's masculine, feminine. The feminine side of intuition will feel it. They'll kind of think it. It's like in their head, or they'll feel it in their heart, and they're like, "I need that. I need to go get that dirty, filthy book that you left on the ground somewhere." And then in the masculine side, they feel it in their gut. So you'll kind of hear masculine or male or feminine, female, or vice versa. You'll hear the masculine say, "I went with my gut." You'll hear that from the masculine side. I'm trying really hard to be non-gender specific here, y'all. Bear with me. But you'll hear the masculine say a lot, like, "I felt it in my gut. I went with that because my gut told me this was a good deal. My gut told me it's a bad deal. My gut told me I need to go down this road. Like my gut told me."
So there's like
Whereas the feminine will be like,
this one
"I felt that in my heart. I heard it in my head." Like it's heart and head. Male is head and gut.
so in a sense like
And
and that's based off of
yeah,
history
I do
too,
think you
right?
said male instead of
It's
masculine.
well, okay, so I think it's based off of history though, because I do think that with the world of what we live in, our history has told us that like, and I've heard like this more times than I've heard, feminine people say, I heard this in my gut. I heard that more from masculine figures saying I heard that in my gut versus when I hear a feminine person say I
Right.
felt that with my, yeah, no, I understand.
And like again, gender is not an issue. So if you have somebody who is, uh do you say born female
So,
with,
okay,
I
so
don't know how to say that, but like,
so we can let's do this. So we discussed this before, and we'll get into this topic maybe another day, but we'll identify this just for the clarity for the audience members that sex is based off what you were born with scientifically, and gender is what you feel like you are. And
right.
I
And that's
think
what I'm
that's
saying. It's not like that's a gender thing. It's not a gender thing. So like when I say masculine and feminine, I'm not meaning sex. I'm not like meaning male and
right.
female, because we all have masculine and feminine within us.
Like I kick my feet on the fucking bed. I'll be straight honest with you when I'm reading a good book or like watching a video, and people would think that's feminine. And I think, yeah, that would be feminine because it's,
But it's based off of standards too. You can't kind of go off that. It's a different type of energy. Um, I don't.
I guess I just
I think
announced to the
this.
audience members I kick my feet for fun, huh?
I think I don't even know what to do with that mental image now. I think that we need to kind of pull away from that and maybe come back to masculine and feminine on another time, because I do want to talk about divine masculine, divine feminine, twin flames versus soulmates versus like I think that's like
And that's a whole topic in of
that's a
itself for
whole
that
topic by
within the
itself.
realm
Right.
of the spiritual
Right.
and universal stuff like that.
The fun part of the clear yeah.
Clear I want to say clarity.
Clarity is just what every human deserves to have when it comes to talking to someone. Look,
Fair enough.
clear clairaudient. The other part of that, the fun part, the one I love, because I music is my love language. You know that.
Yes.
I could have a full on conversation with a person with just music because I listen to the lyrics that deep.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. It's kind of like signs.
Right. So like I told you, because I was typing you and I were talking about this the other day, where I hear music and lately I've been getting a lot of Scorpions and Guns N' Roses and Bon Jovi. And as much as I absolutely love those artists, um, it was like it's my life on repeat. And I'm like, good Lord, just like calm,
Yeah.
calm down. And it's on shuffle. It's not even on my playlist. I took the thumbs up off of it to try and just get it to go away for a little bit. And it was still every morning on the way to work, It's My Life would pop on. And I'm like, oh my God. Or Paradise City or Sweet Child. Like it would be some Guns N' Roses thing. And so I
Yeah.
turned that off. It went over to radio stations completely away from
No,
thumbs up, anything.
no music is chosen from that.
No music is liked from it. No music is chose from it. I just went to the radio and I'm like, just give me what, because I love all music, all genres, all everything. I love it. And I click shuffle, and it's playing a song, and I want to see it was a new one, and I'm just kind of dancing to it, and then I started laughing, and I'm like, thank God, it's like a different one. Like if I hear Bon Jovi or Guns N' Roses like one more time, if I hear it one more time, I'm lose it. And the second I said I'm gonna lose my shit, Bon Jovi, It's My Life came on the fucking radio. And all I could say was it just looked up in the universe and it just said touche. Touche.
And it's similar to the idea that I've had an experience
And I
where
after I told you about it is when you had this one.
yes,
Okay.
was this the tarot card one?
Huh?
Was this the
No. The song one you were telling about, you were saying you heard it a song in the car.
oh Journey, Separate Ways. So there was a song that came up that was out of the blue, and it's been kind of in my head for a bit, and I just like the song, but the idea was that I listened to the lyrics a little bit more, and I understood why I was enjoying it so much because I had a sense of I always had these questions in my head a lot. I always have like thoughts in my head 24/7. It never shuts up unless I get melatonin. Then
This ADHD overthinker.
thank God.
You're welcome.
So
Genetics.
it's fun times. So the idea is that I had a question of okay, do I really want to do this? Do I want to really do this? And when that song came on, there was a specific lyric of love will find you and break free of those chains or chains or
Right.
break those chains.
Right.
And that to me said something else differently.
Right. It
And
wasn't about love. It was about something else because
and
you had a different question for it.
and the other thing was that it was a coincidence too. Not a coincidence. Fuck it. It's the universe talking to me.
That's
To
right.
the tarot card, there was a tarot card reading I did with my mom, and I asked and she asked the question
No,
of
wait.
what would happen within 2 to 3 weeks for my son.
Yeah, you wanted to know what was coming up for him in 2 to 3 weeks, so I did a 3 card, just a basic shuffle, and just kind of let the cards pop out on their own.
By the way, I don't know anything about tarot cards at all, so this is all random stuff. And my mother even was blindly shuffling until a card popped out, which she did not know.
Yeah,
As a
I
heads up,
closed my eyes while I was shuffling so that he could see I wasn't trying to pick cards. 'Cause it's harder to read for people
yeah,
that
because
you're
you're my
close to.
mom.
Yeah, so
You want good things for your
I'm
son.
biased. I want fantastic things for you. So yeah, so I was doing that, but I'm also what's the word I'm looking for?
Bounded to being more like what honest with the tarot
I
cards.
lean towards logic and integrity. I do. As much it doesn't matter how much I love you, how much I care about you. If universe or spirit is saying, "Hey, you need to tell this person this specific thing," I'm going to tell you that specific thing.
Right.
I'm gonna try and cushion it a little bit when I tell you, but I'm gonna tell you. And I used to be kind of shy about doing that, and just like the past couple months, that's gone out the window. But anyway, so I was doing the cards for him, and I'm reading the cards, and I get to the last card, and he goes, "Okay." He goes, "I need you to just read from the book. Don't say what the book is."
Oh,
It's
why? Well, okay, so
shh, don't.
why?
No, it is my it's my special sauce. Those are my secret. I have a book that
Don't
stop.
say anything.
No.
Sorry.
No, no, no.
Oh, let
Look
me
at
say
it.
what it is.
No, no, no. It's like, look, it is so, it is so
I like how
horrible.
you just retracted, be like, okay, you know what? No, never mind. So
I
this,
got this book in 97. Okay, so just be gentle with the book.
so just imagine
She's
my
covered in
mom.
old gift
Imagine my
wrap.
mom.
She's got flags in her.
Imagine my mom with gray hair.
No, I don't have gray hair.
You have the strands here and
I
there.
have silver strands peppered very, very, very lightly.
Silver is just a reflective gray, ma,
I'm neon red right now
because she dyed her hair.
with silver. With silver
I love
silvery pink.
you. I love you. I'm joking.
Dude, I'm gonna drop you so hard.
You already dropped me as a baby, didn't you?
No, that was your dad.
Damn. Anyways, so the tarot card reading, the first three were basically just like the normal, yeah, like the first card was like someone is like talking about or like trying to think about talking to you about stuff. And then the second card was like it can go either way of like how they say it towards you. And then the third one was like it was definitely a specific I won't say who,
Yeah.
but it's a specific person that will talk contact me, which they did tell me a couple of things. That was more like what was happening with them and like
Right.
what was going on. So that told me that the tarot cards are true. But the one thing that really was so out of the blue and
Hold on
accurate, continue.
before you get to that. Okay, so I do this reading on him. I let him know what's going on. I'm brutally honest with what comes out. I say it in a very nice, sweet way. And then he's obviously disappointed. So he goes back to his office and he's in his studio. And then I want to say like 10 minutes later, he comes back out and he's like, "All right, that's it. I want to." I just started.
I
He said, "I want to shuffle the cards myself. I want my own card to come out, and I want to be able to read it from the book from scratch."
and
Which
now
is great because he told Spirit exactly how he wanted things to happen so that he could read it. And so they made it to where they gave him a card that he could absolutely be perfect with. And his question,
my question was, will I be able to gain money, good money, within the next week? Or like within
you
my
were asking about a specific job.
oh yeah, my
Yeah.
YouTube career. So
No, no, no. You asked about a specific job. You were waiting for a call back from a specific person, and you asked if that person was going to contact you before the end of the weekend, or for by next week.
no, I asked for money.
Was it money?
I asked I
Okay,
no, yeah,
okay.
that question was
All right, all
so the actual question, let's refresh here,
right. Okay.
was will I gain good money from
Oh, this specific
this
YouTube thing.
specific YouTube channel
remember now.
within the next week?
You are correct.
And as I do the shuffle or she does the shuffle.
No, you did the
Oh
shuffle.
no, I did the
And
shuffle.
the card popped out.
No, I picked the card.
No,
Remember?
that's right.
Yeah, so
I
so
let you pick
instead
the card.
so instead hold on. I know you're excited.
I am
She's
excited.
very excited.
It
So
cracks me
so
up,
she
y'all.
she
You have
shuffled
no
the
idea.
card, fanned them, looked away. I picked the card, and that card was an upside down uh what was the card called?
I honestly don't remember which card it was.
It was something like a monolith or something.
No, no, no. It was definitely a pinnacle, which not always has to do with money, but it is a money.
It was an upside down card though of that, and that
And the first sentence said,
I have to look up the card. I have to look it up or else I'm gonna like.
"You're not going to be able to find it." That's not. It was the only time you had a card that, like, all his cards were actually major arcana, which is the a tarot cards. It's going to probably be his own little thing, anyways. Here, let me see.
You want to find it for me?
Why, I can show you where the pentacles are. I'll just have
So those cards are very special, and the funny thing is that I was able to get 3 of them with my first ever reading. Which, by the way, that was my first ever reading. I was curious, and I was very curious because in my head, I was a little bit I would say, not cynical, but very,
It was this one, wasn't it?
pessimistic.
Upside down?
No, it had 3 circles with the little stars on it. I forgot what that card was called, but
The 3 of Pentacles?
I think it was the 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, it was the 3 of Pentacles. It was this one upside down. Yes. Recognition for skill at work. And
That
that's
was right side up, though. Reverse, it said, rewards are not coming and approval of your work and skill is delayed.
specific. It said specifically. Hold on, let me see the
I don't
card.
think that's it.
No, it is. No, I remember.
No, because I remember you had
No,
this
this is
one.
this is my first ever card. I would remember this one.
No, I know, but look, this one right here. Um,
It was
this
not
is
that
the
one.
right here.
I don't think it was not that
Desire
one.
financial security and prosperity, but upside down. Ulterior motive. He doesn't want to work too hard for it.
Oh, was that? You're right, actually. Sorry, I will correct myself. I apologize. Yeah, that is an actual. Yeah, it was the King of Pentacles, and it was legitimately. It legitimately says the King of Pentacles reverse will lose. Or sorry, the reverse King of Pentacles wants all the good things in life, but isn't able or willing to do what it takes to get them. He is stubborn, materialistic, slow to move on things, and unaware of his spending habits, and makes makes unwise choices about money matters.
Yeah. So
But that entire
the
card,
entire thing, yeah. Which is
it
not
was,
easy to say to your son, by the way.
and not only that, that's specific for the question that I
Yes, he
specifically
specific
asked for,
answered the
and so
specific
I
question.
said, "Fuck."
Actually, I think you said fuck. That's creepy.
Yeah, because for me, when you pick a card like that, that's so like specific, right? And a card that's very specific towards a question that you ask, that is like a one in a millionth or even billionth chance of getting,
Right.
and you get that card,
Right.
maybe a little.
But you can do it. So if you know you like tarot is a
It was a little.
different.
It's not. It wasn't weird. It was just the fact that it was so accurate. It freaked me out.
It's because you've spent years. Let's be fair and fucking honest about this. You have spent years laughing and giggling every time I say it'll all work out. The universe will provide. Like you would make jokes with other people about
I would
how
also.
funny it was,
I
and I
would
would always say that.
And I would always kind of like eye roll too, because it kind of got a little annoying after a while, because nothing really came my way with the universe if that was the case. But
There was the day we were out. You were in your apartment off campus.
and this is up at college, by the way,
Okay.
everyone.
So we were up there, and a lot of stuff had happened. I'm not going to get into details about it. This is private. A lot of things had happened in a row. I want to say that so they have an avalanche of 5 things that already happened, and then my car breaks down. So now my car is broken down on top of these other 5 things that have happened. And I'm telling him, the universe will provide and everything will work out. He's just rolling his eyes. And I get a call from my mom to let me know that my aunt had passed away.
Which is sad.
Yeah. And so
Are we shooting? It's past 4th of July.
we're gonna be going off forever.
Oh man.
So then he asked me what was wrong, because I looked upset, and I told him that, it was an aunt that he didn't really know well or hadn't really met, I don't think. It was but anyways, and I said it's gonna be okay. And he got very upset and said, "How is it gonna be okay? You've lost this, you've lost this, you've lost this, you've lost that, car broke down, and now your aunt." And he just kind of went off this whole list of things that I had lost recently. And I said, the universe will provide. I know it feels like a loss, but if I look at it as a negative, like the good isn't going to be there. I have to find the good in the bad, the positive in the negative, the happy and the sad, the funny and the absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like I have to find those moments of goodness, because there's goodness in everything. There's a lesson in everything. And if you can't learn from your experience, you will repeat it. And I know that from experience.
It wasn't just also you, it was also me going through stuff at the same time as well.
Absolutely.
And I also had an avalanche of things.
Absolutely.
And when that happened,
It was a lot.
Hold on. I have something I haven't told you that I just remembered that the universe did provide. And I fucking hate the fact that it did provide because it proved me wrong. And I hate being proved wrong, but at the same time, it's a good learning experience. So I went through a bunch of other stuff. I went through a lot of drama in college. I went through a lot of financial things that were really bugging me down to the point where I wasn't able to even afford food easily without having to beg for money. So I tried getting jobs and stuff like that. No one replied to me
I
and all that.
sent money.
You sent money. I'm sorry, but it's money that I didn't want you to like.
Don't. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry,
You're fine.
sorry, we're
No,
getting
no,
a
no.
little personal
You're
there.
good. You're good.
I didn't. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. I didn't want you to spend the money on me because I wanted to provide for myself because I
Yeah.
didn't want you to go through that financial struggle that I was going through.
Yeah.
And then that for me was also adding on to that stress. So I cared a lot. There was a lot. Oh, there was a bunch of things that were happening.
Boom.
Gotta
Shakalaka.
love the fireworks.
Confirmation.
There was a lot of things happening all at once. Then your car broke down, and the car broke down meant that you had to take my car, which was my only source of financial
I
gain
know.
because I was doing DoorDash.
But on your end, the universe took away but provided for me.
Yeah, provided for you, but took away from me. Like, you don't need that. I'm like,
I did. I did.
and you know what? I will respect that. But here's the thing: when you left, when you left, about a week goes by, and me and my girlfriend, we were going on a trip. I got the car back after that month. I went on a trip. We went to go to 7-Eleven get some snacks. We went back, and I walk on the sidewalk. It's wet, it's cold, we want to get inside. But something shiny is on the ground.
This you didn't have the car back yet. You guys had to walk.
Don't remind me.
Just
Just
pointing that
don't
out.
remind me of my pain and suffering that I went through.
The pain and suffering that forced you to walk that allowed you to find something.
I'm still being cynical about this. Anyways, the idea. So, but the thing is that as I walk down the street and about to get to the house or the apartment, there's something shiny on the ground. I look down and my girlfriend's passed. There's $100 bill laying there with a blue strip that's shiny. And I went to put it up near the light post, and it was an actual $100 bill. I held that onto that $100 bill for about a month. No,
That's a shock by itself, y'all.
I'm good at saving money, except for the $1,000 camera I bought. But aside from that, it's for my investment of being a
It is an
filmmaker.
investment. I didn't say what. I didn't say what.
My mother, ladies, gentlemen, all genders alike. So,
Hey, I'm allowed to be concerned and worried and check in on you. I
of course.
honestly, I leave you the fuck alone. I treat you like a roommate, except for when you're not doing what you should be
Then you
doing
talk to
as
me
a
for an
roommate.
hour, then my girlfriend calls me at. It's weird that my girlfriend calls me at the exact same time that you were talking to me. I don't know if that's a
It's
coincidence.
because you have a connection with her and she senses when you have anxiety and you start getting anxious when I start talking about dishes.
I also get anxious when you talk about an hour when I want to do something else.
Oh shit.
I love you. I'm joking, of course.
Hot meat kettle.
I'm joking.
You need help with that? Pot meat kettle?
No,
Are you sure? You look slightly puzzled.
maybe.
That's the pot calling the kettle black.
I never understood that.
It's damn.
Is it because the kettle is black?
Yes.
So it's obvious.
It's hypocritical.
Oh.
The little light.
The more you learn. So, but but aside from that, it's the $100 bill that actually helped us have a good time. And also, my girlfriend was telling me to save it because you never know, and karma is always nicer, you know. And I believe, by the way, I believe in karma. Karma, I
Karma is
believe.
a whole nother. Yeah.
Karma, I
absolutely.
believe, and it's always been the thing that made me do the nice things.
We should definitely talk about karma, but we should probably talk about it either. Probably the next one would be the best. Tarot and karma, I think, could be the two main subjects. This is just kind of a hi. This is who I am. Hi, this is who he is. And hopefully, you guys actually
We also talk
later.
and we also talk about the different the differentiation. I can't even say words. The differences between the what we just talked about, the 3 things,
So that was the other thing I was gonna add to it. So you have, clairvoyant,
clairvoyant,
clairsentient, and clairaudient.
and we described the details of each
A
one.
little bit,
So
yeah.
it kinda helped, like,
There's
people.
more to each one,
Right,
but
but
yeah,
getting
but
the
it's just like a
general.
general idea. And
Yeah.
you could get in your car, for example, or you could be at home listening to radio or your earbuds, whatever, wherever you're at, and there's music, and you can ask a question. I recommend giving it a minute. Like, ask the question, give a minute. You can ask it out loud, you can ask it in your head, whatever the question you have is, and then ask for guidance, and then give yourself a minute before you hear anything. We should also talk about eventually, like, protection if you're going to be somebody who's going, if you already lean towards
Both.
more intuitive, like if you're more of a intuitive person, then learning about protections, tiger's eye, there's black onyx, there's other stones that you can use for protection. Sage is another thing that you can use for protection, and it just kind of gets rid of negative energy. The other things we can talk about is transmutation, like how do you transmute negative energy into positive energy. Like, there's a lot of little things that we can talk about that have to do with the tarot, divination, psychics, things like that.
But
But I would
yeah.
like to also make or I would like our podcast to be not just about like spiritual tarot divination, twin flames and things like that. But I also want to talk about ghosts and hauntings, mediumship. I wouldn't mind having a couple nerd days where we talk about gaming or
As
we
long
talk about
as long as we
movies
don't
or
bring out an Ouija board, I'm okay with that because that frightens me and I've seen too
and
many
I
things
would love
happen.
to have a discussion about Ouija boards and why people freak out about them and find out what the myths are, what the history is, what we can do to protect, what we can do to avoid.
I am curious about that, but the thing about it is, like, obviously people will stereotype the Ouija board with horror films because that's always been like a staple for communicating with spirits or the dead and or like, demons and stuff like that. And that frightens me because I think maybe it's because I've watched so many horror films, and maybe that's not the right thing to do to stereotype it, which makes sense. So I am curious to learn about it, but I also am afraid if it's
We could definitely talk scary movies because
scary movies are pretty good. I think it's going to be the outro here
okay.
because I think we did talk about a good amount of things, which
I
was
would like to know what people want to hear about. Like, what specific thing or what specific myth or legend, like where I'm anything strange, weird, unique, cryptozoology, Greek goddesses, gods, Egyptian god and goddesses, like deities, like whatever. What or ghosts, hauntings, what specific I never got into that story about that guy. Um,
oh no, yeah, you'll have to talk about that next podcast.
yeah.
Totally sorry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we hope you enjoyed this podcast. This is definitely something new for us to try out, and we want to see if you guys want to hear more about this kind of talks. And not just that, like maybe if you're interested in like nerdy and geeky things, you want us to talk about comic books or how my mom loves Superman over Batman, which to be fair, I'm starting to lean towards now because he's such a when I start
Badass.
reading not a badass, fuck that. He's a sweetheart. He's totally different in the comic books that I've been reading
Yeah.
recently. And Zack Snyder, I love you, man, but you messed up Superman so bad for everyone watching it. You made a god like, amongst like men, and then you made him like not the farm boy that is lovable.
He was I think that one of the things that I really liked about him is that he's the underdog. He really was.
Was
He
Superman
he started out as an
or
underdog.
Zack Snyder?
Superman.
He was the underdog.
He was an underdog growing up. He was the one that was picked on. He wasn't allowed to use his powers. So he was the one bullied. He didn't get the girl.
Uh,
He had a rough life.
you want to talk about traumas for superheroes? You really want to go about what's people have gone through in their childhood?
No, no, no. They've gone through some traumas. I didn't say that they didn't go through traumas. I'm just saying that like he was an underdog.
Every superhero is the underdog. That's why they're superheroes.
Yeah, that's true. Villains are too, though. A lot of villains
Depends on
have
the
some really sad
Mr. Freeze,
stories.
I think, is a good example.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Love that guy.
He's a great character and designed well. Joker can be designed well if it's the right story. Like, I think one of the stories I really enjoyed was The White Knight, which was basically Joker if he turned back to being a normal person, and Harley Quinn essentially changed to being like also friendly. But the thing about it was that like that story in and of itself was about how people can change for the better, even if they've done all those terrible things.
Oh, listen to him finding the positive in the negative.
Anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. We hope to do more. And if there's any questions you guys have for like maybe some clarity of things that we said on the podcast,
Like, why the hell did we make this?
or maybe curious about us in general, or curious about um I would say spirituality and things like that, let us know. We're more than open to talk about,
Mhm.
that type of stuff.
What- And for those of you who really need to hear this, and I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, finish your laundry. Just finish it. It's been sitting there too
Are
long.
you talking to yourself in the mirror here?
It's not a mirror. It's kind of to the left of you, but yeah, I do. It's been sitting there for 3 days. It's time. It's
Anyways, we will see you all later. Hopefully next week. I don't know when I'm gonna upload this, but I think we might upload it every maybe weekend. All right. We will see you guys all later.
bye.